spring training, Jeff Locke was hardly a lock to make the team, let alone the starting rotation. Now he stands alone as the last man standing in what was the Pirates' five-man rotation. The Bucks needed Locke to be good with Burnett and Rodriguez healthy. Now they need him to be better than good until either his rotation mates get back or their replacements prove their worth.
Tonight from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Tonight it's the Pirates and the Los Angeles Dodgers in game one of a three-game series. It's a beautiful night in the Burgh. Great night for baseball as the Pirates start their three-game series against the disappointing Los Angeles Dodgers. They will be without Don Mattingly. We'll talk about the suspensions. The skipper of the Los Angeles Dodgers will be out tonight. Greg Brown along with Bob Walk. But a guy that will be in, he's been in since day one, Jeff Locke. He has really solidified this rotation, hasn't he, Bob?
Well, he certainly has. He got off to maybe a little bit of a rough start there very early on, but since early April, he has just been outstanding, and in many ways, it's almost like he's becoming the ace of the staff. He's been so consistent. Somebody every 5 days you can really lean on him, and with the rotation kind of in tatters right now, it looks like the Pirates are going to be leaning on him even more and more now in the near future.
Well, tonight's spot in the rotation was A.J. Burnett's, but Locke, who was going to go tomorrow, moves up a day because of, you just talked about this, it really kind of disarray this rotation, but Jeff Locke has been there from the beginning, and you take a look at some of the guys on the disabled list. We'll see another pitcher tomorrow, the rookie Brandon Compton.
Yeah, Jeff Locke is the last man standing. Sometimes you'll see rotations have to use maybe a dozen guys throughout the course of a season, but usually you have a core of two or three that are always there, and it's the bottom two that you're always mixing in. So far, it's been 4 spots they've had to try and cover for. That gets to be very difficult.
Bob, when the Dodgers come to town, you'd think you'd be talking about guys like Carl Crawford and Adrian Gonzalez, Clayton Kershaw. No, everybody is talking about the Cuban defector, the rookie Yasiel Puig. Since his call-up, he has been off the charts.
He has been absolutely awesome out there in L.A. The numbers are incredible. He is the buzz of the National League right now. I can't wait to watch him these next couple of days.
Brought to you by Farrell Automotive, driven to be better. And the Pirates will send lefty Jeff Locke to the hill to try to neutralize Yasiel Puig and the Los Angeles Dodgers lineup. It is game one of the three-game series on a beautiful night for baseball here in Pittsburgh. ready to start things off for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Incredible story. A pretty strong story here on the mound for the Pirates. 7th lowest ERA in the National League, 2.39. Jeff Locke, and here is the starting lineup. Trey Hillman, the bench coach, is the manager tonight with Don Mattingly suspended. Puig leads off, then Punto and Adrian Gonzalez. Career in Pittsburgh or against the Pirates, .350. Handler Ramirez bats cleanup. Mark Ellis, Andre Ethier, A.J. Ellis, Jerry Hairston Jr., and on the mound, Stephen Fife.
Take a quick look at Locke's numbers, brought to you by Chevrolet. He has been just outstanding for us, as Greg was saying. A little bit of trouble early on, but since then it's just been great. The only place you can nitpick him a little, I guess, Greg, would be the base on balls. He's shown a little bit of wildness here and there. He's got to work on that, but that's about it.
Well, that's true, especially his last time out, Bob. He only gave up 1 run against the Cubs on Sunday, but he walked 7, career high.
Took a no-hitter into what, the 6th inning?
So he's got 35 walks. That's 3rd most in the National League.
Like a Doc Ellis no-hitter.
Yeah. Here is Puig. And he bunts the ball. And he's going to reach.
Absolutely perfect bunt against a left-handed pitcher. You have a lefty on the mound. He's going to fall toward third base. And you got to get it, got to get it by him. If you do that, then you're going to have your base hit. And that's what he did. But just hard enough to push the ball by Locke. And after that, it was pretty easy.
Puig, the bunt single. Now Nick Punto. Veteran switch hitting infielder. .333 hitter from this side of the plate. .263 average overall. And a strike. Home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt. The Dodgers last place in the National League West. 28-37 record. Good pitch there, 0-2 on Punto.
That good breaking ball coming down and in. Got the chase.
Always a tough man to strike out.
Punto after the swing, gingerly stepping across the plate, grabbing his back. Might have felt a little twinge. Gonna go back in there again. One of the strong suits of Locke this year is his ability to pitch inside.
Clint Hurdle talked about that today before the game with members of the media about what really is the difference for Jeff Locke is that ability to pitch inside. And look at this, bounced right to the shortstop Barnes for a routine double play.
Room service couldn't ask for anything better. A nice waist tie to Hopper. Made it an easy turn for Neal at second base to kind of take his time. Make sure he got a good throw off.
You saw a couple of middle infielders. The outfield, Presley, McCutchen, Snyder left to right. Alvarez and Jones on the corners. And Russell Martin, the former Dodger, is catching. Ball 1 on Adrian Gonzalez, hitting .312. The Pirates' first road trip this season took them into L.A., and they were swept by the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine. Grounded sharply, but right at second. Boy, that is exactly what the Pirates needed. Jeff Locke, after the bunt single by Puig, gets the double play from Punto and the ground out by Gonzalez. up in town. We're going to be seeing some spectacular shots of the ballpark and the great city of Pittsburgh. And here is the starting lineup for the Pirates, brought to you by Toyota. Alex Presley, Russell Martin, and then Andrew McCutchen this season hitting .346 at PNC Park. Garrett Jones hits cleanup. Neil Walker, switch hitting second baseman, will be followed by Pedro Alvarez with Travis Snyder in right, Clint Barmas at short, and Jeff Locke, who is 0 for 21 this season. He'll be on the mound, and on the mound for the Dodgers, Stephen Fife.
Making his 4th start. He's got some pretty good strikeouts going. 1 an inning, but he also has given up 3 long balls. Might help out tonight.
Yeah, normally a ground ball pitcher. Normally, we'll see if Pirates can't get that long ball going again. As Alex Presley, who had a pinch hit home run the other night, batting lead off as Starling Marte was scratched from the lineup before last night's game with discomfort in the rib cage area. This ball bounced foul 0-2.
With all the stuff that starting rotation's having to deal with right now, with injuries and everything, you really would love to see this offense just get hot right now. Just go on a tear for a couple of weeks, start putting up some big numbers.
It's outside, said the home plate umpire Hunter at Wendelstedt. Last 3 games, Pirates are hitting .327. Alan Porter at first, Mike Estabrook at second, Greg Gibson, the crew chief, at third. And Fife strikes out Presley looking.
Right on that outside corner. That's a spot that Alex really has a tough time with.
Fife, 6'3", 220 pounds, 26 years old, making the starts now in the rotation for the injured Chris Capuano. Tough luck loser his last time out on Saturday against the Braves. Gave up a couple of runs in 6 2/3 innings. Dodgers lost 2-1. Here's the former Dodger catcher, Russell Martin. 6 hits for his last 18 at bats, so he's been getting hot. On deck, Andrew McCutchen. And in the dirt, former Royals manager Trey Hillman, the bench coach, is managing tonight. Don Mattingly was suspended. Big time brawl the other night. Really the talk of baseball. The Dodgers and the Diamondbacks.
The score strip has kind of changed a little bit tonight. I don't know if anybody has noticed it. Right up there at the top where it says 2-1 right now. You'll get the radar reading. And you're also going to get the number of pitchers. So there it is, number 8. Something we have added so you can keep track of the pitch count as the game goes along.
Russell Martin draws the walk. So here is the brawl we were talking about from the other night between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. As Miguel Montero was hit, but this is after UCL Puig was hit in the face. So they paid him back, and then Ian Kennedy hits Zach Greinke, the pitcher, and that's when all heck broke loose. And the suspensions were handed down. Ian Kennedy got a 10-game suspension for intentionally throwing at the head of Zach Greinke. J.P. Howell, Skip Schumacher, Mark McGuire, the hitting coach, got a 2-game suspension. The other way, deep, foul by McCutchen.
Greinke can't seem to not be involved in that kind of stuff this year. Second time.
You can't blame Greinke for protecting Puig. Puig was hit in the face by a Kennedy pitch, and so he goes after Montero, and you figure that should be the end of it. And then Kennedy throws up and in to Greinke. 0-1 on McCutchen. Bob, what do you think of that when you're trying to protect, about throwing it ahead of somebody? What do you think of that?
The only thing that I would say is that if if it was me, I would have thrown at Kennedy. Now I know that that's not popular. Everybody says, "Oh, you got to go for their star or whatever." I mean, that's right. To me, I care less about that. It's a National League. The pitcher gets up there, I'm throwing at him. And then I think if you would have hit Kennedy, that would have been the end of it. But you know, their player gets hurt now. You know, or hit now. Now Kennedy thinks he needs to do something. So now when Greinke gets up there, now he throws at Greinke, and it just kind of snowballed. But I think if you just after Puig got hit up there in the shoulder, and then I guess it bounced off his shoulder and got him in the nose, but whatever. I think then as soon as Kennedy gets up there, you gotta drill him, and I think that would have put a stop to it. I'm always a big fan of if you got a problem, if that pitcher is doing something that is wrong, he's got to come to the plate, hit him.
In terms of the area of where you hit, you don't believe there's a rule of thumb?
Oh, yeah, never throw somebody's head. Absolutely, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's no reason to ever throw it at, try and hit somebody in the face.
2-2 the count on McCutchen.
I think when you're trying to pay somebody back, you throw for their backside. That's it.
McGuire has started to serve his. He'll miss tomorrow as well. Mattingly will be back, and the players will appeal. Still 2-2 as McCutchen faces the rookie Stephen Fife.
I definitely agree with what I saw of the highlights, that the Dodgers should have been very upset with Kennedy. But then make Kennedy pay the price.
2-2 the count. And he strikes out McCutchen.
Breaking ball on the outside half.
Was the Yasiel Puig earlier in the ball game. Puig clipped off his shoulder and then banged off his nose. No damage, thankfully. He was able to stay in the ball game.
And that is absolutely would have upset me if I would have been Zach Greinke. I mean, here's your young star. He's come onto the scene in a huge way, and the Dodgers are just looking for something to get him fired up about. And to have a fastball right off the tip of his nose, that's no good. And I think it is understandable that there was some retaliation.
Russell Martin still over at first now with 2 outs.
And there should have been some retaliation. Not only is it understandable, if I'm a Dodger fan, a Dodger player, whatever, I would have been disappointed if there hadn't been anything.
That's what kind of Mattingly was talking about the other day when asked about whether this thing was kind of over with. 0-2 on Garrett Jones.
Division rivals.
Yeah, they play each other a lot more yet. We're
going to hear more about it, I think.
Don Mattingly said, if you can't pitch inside without hitting somebody in the head, then you shouldn't pitch inside. So Puig gets hit in the face, Montero gets hit in the back, it's over. But it continued on. Talk is cheap, it doesn't matter. It's a good win for us. They went on to win that ball game.
Yeah, I agree with him too about a lot of pitchers will say, well, I wasn't throwing at him, it was an accident. To me, that doesn't matter. I've said this before, that if you're going to pitch inside and you accidentally, quote unquote, hit somebody, then what difference does that make? You're still going to have to pay the price because you threw the ball inside, so you took a chance. Now you're going to have to go up and wear one yourself.
He offered at that pitch, perhaps. Yes, he did. Jones just now takes off for first, and the strikeout. In fact, the Fife strikes out the side. So after 1, it's 0-0.
Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Another great shot. Point here in Pittsburgh. Pirates Dodgers. First of 3 before the Bucks hit the road. What a great night and a good crowd on hand. A free shirt Friday. Tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock game. Brandon Compton will make his major league debut for the Bucks against Clayton Kershaw, and then Sunday, Garrett Cole, his second start against Zach Greinke. Really intriguing pitching matchups the rest of the weekend. Pirates.com, get your tickets. We understand that Sunday's picked up because of Garrett Cole making the start. There's Kershaw. It starts tomorrow. Hanley Ramirez with a fly ball to right. Jeff Locke might be a man determined to throw strikes here.
Yeah, it looks that way. He is really pounding the strike zone to this point. 8 pitches, 6 of them in the zone. And I definitely would understand that that is a huge mission for him after his last start. It just kind of got away from him. It started out so well, and then by the time he was out of there, it looked like not only was he not able to hit his spots, but he was just struggling just to find something in the plate. Get it over. It is again, strike one fastball inside half.
Mark Ellis just off the disabled list. Hanley Ramirez is playing in just in his 11th game. He's been on the DL twice. Ball and a strike on Ellis. And a line drive into right center. 1-out single.
It looked like that ball was a little away, and he went with it. Well, we were speaking earlier about the way Locke has had success throwing inside. Well, here's what he's done inside to lefties. Looking earlier in the year when he was staying away, the opposition batting average almost 300, slugging percentage way up. Since then, really working the inside half of the plate, and look at the numbers. Slugging percentage just 200, really having a lot of success by going inside. We'll watch now and see if he does the same thing to Ethier, left-hand hitter, standing up there right now.
Fly ball to right. 2 outs.
That was inside and got a lazy fly ball out.
Well, that is a stark contrast, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there's you see the target.
Man,
Russell Martin holding it right there. He maybe didn't get quite perfect on the corner, but it was fairly close to being right on the inside corner. And he gets his easy fly ball out.
2 left-hand hitters in the lineup tonight, Ethier and Gonzalez.
And I think it's equally important to keep the right-hand hitters at least honest by throwing in there, and he has been able to do that this year.
Strike on the outside corner to the catcher, A.J. Ellis. Ball and a strike.
Good spot for that curveball. Head in the count. Tries to throw it just below the strike zone, see if he can get a chase. The count really dictates the location of those off-speed pitches. If he would have missed on that first one, it was a 1-0. Then he comes with a curveball. He wants to throw it for a strike. 0-1, he wants to just miss the strike zone. Now he is back ahead right now. If he throws a breaking pitch or a changeup right now, he wants it to be off the plate. He doesn't want to give up a hit on something off speed in the strike zone. Not when he's ahead.
Breaking ball, maybe a flinch from Hunter Wendelstedt.
That's where he wanted to put it, just off the plate a little bit. trying to get the hitter to hit a borderline pitch. See that ball missed just maybe an inch inside. Really a perfect spot. Now he's back to even. Would rather throw a strike with the pitch.
Fastball fouled away.
You always want to stay out of full counts, especially when there's 2 outs. You don't want to give that runner at first base a head start. If it goes to 3-2, Allison just take off. Swing and a miss. Great curveball.
First K for Locke. 0-0 through 1.5. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And great glimpse shots this weekend, the Pirates and Dodgers series. 1-800-DirecTV. Looking directly into what we think is the best ballpark in America. And some people would argue that he's the best mascot in America. I think that there are probably 6 or 7 others that are better. Who knows who he has on the phone now? There's a busy bird. It's going to be Blass or Neverett.
When's he going to get an upgrade on that phone?
I don't know. Strike on Neil Walker. Two on Neil Walker, who hit into a couple of double plays last night. Was hit by a pitch in his final plate appearance as the Pirates were shut out 10-0 after winning the first 2 games of the series over the Giants by scores of 12-8, 8-2. Pirates offense hitting .327 last 3 games, .291 the last 5. Pirates are playing excellent ball here at PNC Park. And there's a base hit for Walker the other way. Leadoff hit for Neil Walker, and let's now hear from Robbie Ince-Mikowski. What do you got for us, Robbie?
Greg, I'm up here in the all-you-can-tweet seats for the Pirates with all our guest tweeters from the Pirates. Say hi, everybody. Hey. Now, you might recognize our one guest tweeter here. This is defensive lineman Brett Kiesel from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he has a pretty cool story with a Pirates tie-in. Brett, can you explain how you got your very first Pirates hat and when you wore it?
Well, I was in high school, and I wanted a different hat than everyone else. I really didn't know that much about the Pirates. I knew about Barry Bonds and you know, the Pirates' great legacy, but I didn't really watch them that much. But I love the P. I love the logo. I think it was unique. And, yeah, I actually have a picture in my high school yearbook where I have my Pirates hat on. I don't have the beard then, but it is still me.
And you said there was a unique face you made in the photo, right?
Yeah.
Can you recreate that or no?
I can recreate it, and maybe I'll send you the picture later, and you could tweet it out, since that's what we're doing up here is tweeting. But it was kind of like this, just like something weird like that.
And Brett talks about tweeting. The hashtag tonight is AYCTBucks. All you can tweet Bucks, AYCTBucks. You have a chance to win a couple different things. An Andrew McCutchen signed video game of MLB 13, the show, and Brett Kiesel autographed a baseball. So we're going to give that away, give this away as well by the end of the night. And one other cool thing here, you guys will get a kick out of this, Brett. Your signature move when you get a sack is, of course, the bow and arrow. Yeah. Now, this would tie into, of course, if you were a big league umpire and how you would call your balls and strikes, right?
That's right. I was just talking with my brother here. We were saying how much fun it would be to be an umpire of the big leagues. Our strikes would just be simple. Strike one, strike two. But on the out, throw it up, and then you throw the arrow back and toss it up.
Well, wait a minute. So he's got it. Robbie, has Brett met Fernando Rodney of the Tampa Bay Rays?
Have you met Fernando Rodney, the closer for the Tampa Bay Rays? Every time he gets a save, he fires the imaginary bow and arrow. He pitched for the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic, and he's had a pretty good career.
I know of him. I know he used my move.
He stole it, didn't he, Brett?
Greg Brown just asked if he stole that from you.
Of course. Anyone who does the bow and arrow took it from me. I got copyright on it.
All right, Brett. Well, thanks for taking part in this. A lot of fun.
Appreciate you coming up and chatting with me. We're good friends now, right?
We're tight.
You better be.
Every time I throw it back to you, Greg, this is what I'm going to do. Boom. Like a bow and arrow. What do you think? Nah, no chance.
Pedro Alvarez fouls it off. Brett Kiesel, a great guy. The Diesel. And, what is he doing here, by the way? Is he just happens to be in the all-you-can-tweet seats? Brett Kiesel just happens to be there? That's great.
Yeah, he is. He's actually here with the Pirates, and he's hanging out with us. We have other guest tweeters, not just Brett. He's our special guest tweeter right here. But we got the rest of our guest tweeters. They got their iPads right here.
Cool.
They're all tweeting up a storm, and so is Brett. He's been tweeting away, too. You got your phone right here, Brett. Your brother Chad is tweeting.
Nice.
And all these young... what's your Twitter handle, too, by the way?
It's BKiesel99.
That's Keisel 99.
Yeah, don't follow the rule. It's not I before E. It's E and I.
Because we're friends, Brett. I know this.
We go way back.
We'll be checking back with Robbie and Brett.
There it is. So, a lot of fun here. Getting the hashtag AYCTBucks. You can win the autographed video game from Andrew McCutchen and the autographed baseball from Brett Kiesel, guys. So, it's a lot of fun.
Cool stuff. We'll be checking back in with Robbie. 3-2 the count on Pedro Alvarez. And he walks, so it's 2 on and nobody out. As Bob mentioned earlier, you see at the top of your screen the new score strip that includes the pitch count now, so you can follow along.
It's definitely become a big part of the game of baseball, and every manager definitely uses that pitch count to make some decisions on how long not only starters but even relief guys get to stay out there. So you kind of watch along and keep track of that at home.
Now ask and you shall receive. Root Sports got a lot of tweets from people asking for that. So Sean McClintock, Doug Johnson, Adam Elmore, they made it happen. You tweet us, hashtag Bucks Booth. Travis Snyder hitting .234. Ball to strike. Stephen Fife was a third-round pick of the Boston Red Sox in 2008 out of the University of Utah and traded to the Dodgers 2 years ago from Boston. 26 years old. Up and down a couple of times last year. And this is his 4th game this season. Hard hit at second. This will be an out at second. Mark Ellis goes to Ramirez for the force there.
All he had to do was throw to first base, and he had an easy double play. Right now, throw the ball to first base, your double play is easy.
Well, it looked like he was thinking of it, too.
Bad decision. Yeah, I don't know. You can see afterwards he's talking to himself saying, what did I just do?
He's a really solid defensive player.
He had Alvarez is hung up. Alvarez doesn't know what to do. It's a line drive. Does he run? Does he not? So once you short hop it, just get the out at first, and now you can get the next guy at your leisure. Well, Pirates catch a break. Now just one out. Opportunity to score a run with an out. And third. It's that defense we talked about earlier. It has not been good for the Dodgers. Been a tough season for them in a lot of departments, and defense one of them.
Then Barma's struggling too. One hit in his last 17 at bats over his last 5 games. Barmas has been hearing it too from the home crowd lately. We would love to deliver here. Jordy Mercer made back-to-back starts. Barmas keeps working on it. Strong May. Pitch got away. Almost got a piece of Barmas. 1-2.
Okay, there we go. 0-2 pitch up and by the head. And sometimes it's you get mad about that stuff, and sometimes you don't.
Well, would you be mad about that?
No, but I wasn't there. Don Mattingly, didn't he say something about if you can't throw inside without throwing up by your head, you shouldn't be pitching?
Oh, Barmas goes down swinging.
His pitcher just threw an 0-2 pitch right over the top of somebody's head. It does happen. You don't like it to happen, but it does. I think that was a breaking ball too that he threw over his head. To reach out and get some kind of a piece of it to stay alive. Couldn't do it.
Well, Stephen Fife, real good shape getting out of this without any damage because of Jeff Locke at the plate now. 0 for 21 this season and 0 for his last 29 at bats. Going back to last year. Pirates pitchers collectively hitting .064. Lowest batting average of any pitching staff in the league. The Dodgers pitchers the second highest in the National League. They are batting .186. Dodgers pitchers hitting .200 collectively. Ball to strike on Locke.
Yeah, interesting to see how Cole continues to hit.
Yeah.
See if he might be able to help that situation out. It looks like he's possibly going to swing the bat well.
Tapper over the mound. Shortstop Ramirez on to first. Pirates aren't able to cash in. 0-0 after 2.
is brought to you by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks.
And our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history, 1949, Wally Westlake hit for the cycle against the Boston Braves after grounding out in the first, singled in the third, tripled in the sixth, homered in the eighth, and then doubled with 2 outs at the bottom of the ninth to complete the cycle. Also with that ninth inning double, he drove in Pete Castiglione and Ralph Kiner to give the Buccos a 4-3 walk-off win. Thanks, Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. This day in 1949. And I think the Arts Festival may go back that far. They're winding up the annual Arts Festival, and we have good weather this weekend. It's a yearly tradition that it rains. Of course, we had some bad weather, I guess, a couple days ago, right? Last couple days.
We had some rain that one night.
I'm surprised that we got in those 3 games with the Giants without any rain delay whatsoever.
Rain came at the correct time at 3 in the morning.
Here's Jerry Hairston. Just saw his brother Scott playing for the Cubs. Ball to strike on Jerry Hairston Jr. On deck, the pitcher Stephen Fife. Hairston missed about 3 weeks, left groin strain, and this ball down the line and left foul. Broke his bat. Dodgers have to.
Does it seem like, Greg, that you look around baseball that the disabled lists are getting longer every year, or is it just? I mean, I'm looking at the
Pirates and the Dodgers.
Yeah,
it's
like there's more people on the disabled list than are active.
Yeah. How many you got there total? 2 teams. What we got there? We got Janmar Gomez on the DL there. Wandy next to him.
17, I think.
17 combined. Tabata down there. He's on the DL. Starling Marte not on the DL, but not able to play. Clint Hurdle said that Marte injured himself while diving headfirst in that stolen base the other night in the 6th inning. Last night, talking to Hurdle, he calls this the Rubik's Cube rotation for the Pirates, trying to mix and match all year long. Ground ball to Farmas. One thing for sure about Farmas, he doesn't take his woes at the plate to the field with him. 1 down. Tonight's HH Sports Medicine injury update. Wandy Rodriguez throwing for the 2nd day in a row. Earlier today, scheduled to throw off the mound tomorrow. He's been on the DL since leaving his start June the 5th with forearm tightness. Injury update brought to you by our friends at Allegheny Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pirates. He seemed optimistic, talking to him in the clubhouse later after that throwing session. He feels a lot better, in a better mood, and thinks that he should be able to go on a rehab before too long. It didn't seem as optimistic, though, from A.J. Burnett. Ball backhanded by Walker. 4-3. A.J. Burnett walking around with a boot and walking gingerly at best. Said he has a grade 1 tear of the calf, and it was no better today than it was yesterday. He did it while working out the other day after his start. Charlie Morton back in the thick of things last night. What did you think of that start last night, Bob, for Charlie?
I thought it was okay for Charlie. He got a lot of ground balls. Was a little wilder than you would have liked, that's for sure, especially early on in that game. So, okay, the first one's out of the way, and he needs to improve on that. But he did get the ball put on the ground almost all the time, and that's encouraging because that's his bread and butter. But certainly when you watch the game, especially from a center field camera view, he was missing some spots.
Yasiel Puig bunted his first time and grounds out, and Jeff Locke 1-2-3 and out. Into the bottom of the 3rd, Pirates will have the top of the batting order due up against Stephen Fife. Game Fan Jam features Blues Traveler performing all their hits. For tickets and to find out how you could watch the show from the field here at PNC Park, go to pirates.com/concerts. Blues Traveler tomorrow after the afternoon game, the matinee game, 4:05. Clayton Kershaw against Brandon Compton. He'll make his Major League debut for the Bucks tomorrow. A great shot for the blimp. Right down on the field. Presley shows bunt. Ball one. Blimp will be here all weekend long. You know something really special is going on when you're driving around. All of a sudden you see that blimp, right?
Yep. You know, what is that?
Yeah.
You remember? I don't know if it's. I guess they probably still do it occasionally, but when I was growing up, it was really popular. You'd see the searchlights going in the sky, and you would know at night, what's going on there? You'd follow them to see what it was. Same kind of feeling.
It really is same kind of.
You know that there's something special. Let's go check it out. They still do the searchlight thing very often. I don't see those much anymore.
Yeah, I don't do as much. You're right, but it's out there.
Better bring that back.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Presley. Struck out looking in the first.
We had a couple up here for the next night game. Going outside on Federal Street and have them flashing in the air.
Tapper and off the ground. That will allow Presley to reach. He'll get the infield hit. As Fife tipped it.
I think he was the only guy that was going to have any play anyway. Even if he hadn't tipped it, it's just chopped straight down. Instead of jumping, I wonder if he had to do it over, he would start backpedaling. Upset with himself.
Dodgers catchers have done a fine job throwing out base runners this season. Second best percentage behind only the Orioles in Major League Baseball. See, maybe have Hurdle send Presley at some point. Martin handles the bat very well. Walked in the first. Life out in front now 0-2.
It's always the best defense for if you're thinking about a hit and run. You throw strike one and then strike two, and then that takes it off the table.
0-2 the count. But Bob, look at this. See that? Hello. Blimp shot. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Ground ball. That's cool. First and second. Nobody out. Pirates had runners at first and second. Nobody out last inning. And could not cash in. They were at the bottom of the batting order, but now they've got McCutchen to the plate.
I was talking about when you get ahead in the count, you got to miss the plate, especially with something that's an off-speed pitch. Well, here it is, 0-2, and that's definitely on the plate. Take the price with a base hit.
Martin loves that against his former team. On base for the second straight time, and now McCutchen. McCutchen picked up his 700th career hit last night against the Giants. On Sunday, he scored his 400th career run. Ball and a strike. .33 RBIs. Second behind Alvarez on the club.
I think I like the score strip thing as much as more than anybody. Being able to see how many pitches.
You like it more than anybody.
Yeah.
How the heck do you know that? A line down the right field line. Fair ball. Into the corner it goes. Presley scores. Martin going to be waved as Puig has trouble. Here's the throw to the plate. Martin scores. Bucks lead 2-0 in the third.
Kutch, he's one of those hitters that we really would love to see get just red hot here in the middle of the summer. He started pitching. We talked about that earlier. Puig doesn't pick it up right away, but they still had a shot at the plate, but the throw, not much on it. Coming in on a bounce.
2-run double for McCutchen. 20 doubles on the season. 35 RBIs and nobody out for Garrett Jones. Last 6 games, he's hitting at a .375 clip. Fife struck him out in his first inning at bat. Fife.
Cat and mouse going on. Did you see that? Kutch, so what he did with his feet right there as he was going back to the bag?
Little pitter patter.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty funny.
Oh, 2 on Garrett Jones now.
Like he was doing just a little like
shuffle,
like dance with his feet as he was going back to the bag. That's having some fun. Watch his feet. Right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you gotta love it.
Hard shot. Jones gets the job done. Moving McCutchen to third.
He hit that ball so hard, he would have been able to get him in if he had just a little bit left or right.
Jones, a nice adjustment there after falling behind 0-2. Jones getting the high fives as his teammates appreciate him moving McCutchen to third.
Another 0-2 pitch in the strike zone that didn't turn out well for Fife. Infield right on the grass, trying to cut this run off at the plate. The last time up, Walker went the other way. I'd like to see him do that again. It's always easier to lift the ball in the air. And I think that's what he's thinking right now. Just something to the outfield over this drawn-in infield.
Nothing in 2 on Walker. Single the other way to start the second. Stays 0-2. Walker with 19 runs batted in. Picked up 3 ribbies, homered on Wednesday night.
Hit it to the blunt.
Bounce left side, and McCutchen breaks for the plate, and he is out. And nicely done by Hanley Ramirez.
I think this was all set up by that the 0-1 pitch, the strike 2 pitch, whatever you want to call it. There's the tag. Kutch indeed was out. Ramirez, a nice play, good accurate throw. But Walker chased a ball down out of the strike zone. to put himself in a 2-strike hole. Once he got the 2 strikes, now he was forced to protect and had to swing at everything that was down and ended up hitting the ground ball. That played into Fife's hands.
Fouled off by Alvarez. Alvarez drew the walk in the second. A.J. Ellis got a piece of that foul ball off his body. Last 5 games, Pedro Alvarez is hitting .375. Has driven in 7 runs.
Don't want to jinx him right now. Seems like has been chasing bad breaking balls out of the zone much lately.
Seems very comfortable at the plate.
Confidence. Good confidence right now. It's more important whether you're a pitcher or a hitter. You gotta believe in yourself, believe that you can get the job done. Jay Bell looking on, really pleased, I'm sure, with what Alvarez has been doing lately.
It's outside, 2-1. Alvarez with 14 homers, tied for 6th in the National League. This one a long way toward the corner, and it's a fair ball, but the Dodgers get the break.
Bounced out.
Walker will have to hold at third. Pirates got a break last night. Didn't really help them, of course. Whitewashed 10-0, but a ball hit by Buster Posey in the 5th inning last night bounced onto the track and over for a ground rule double.
An example of Alvarez, though, hitting the ball much better, getting the ball up and away, driving it the other direction, picking up that double.
They're going to intentionally walk Travis Snyder to load the bases for Clint Barmas. Barmas, as we said earlier, has been really hearing it from the home crowd, and pressure will be on.
Well, a great time right now to quiet him down with a 2-out clutch hit.
Bases loaded for Clint Barmas. And out comes Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach. What would this be about, Bob?
I don't know, Greg. The only possible thing, a little bit of a breather. The inning has become extended a little bit, but other than that, it can be about Barmas. It's not like there's a pinch hitter going up. He handled Barmas rather easily his first at bat. So it's got to just be about a little bit of a breather.
In his first career grand slam last year against Ross Ollendorf, former Pirate, was pitching for the Padres August of last year when Barmas hit a granny right here at PNC Park. No need a grand slam. There's a wild pitch, but they get the fortunate bounce off the limestone. You never know. And the appeal, and on the appeal, the Pirates get the break. They say Barmas did not swing. First base umpire Alan Porter on the appeal.
Bounce off the back wall can go a lot of different directions. This time right back to the plate.
Barmas able to hold his swing, so it's 1-0. this one out of play off to the right. Ball to strike on Barmes. Walker, Alvarez, and Snyder aboard. Pirates lead 2-0. Barmes the 8th man to hit in the inning. Toward left, over is Hairston. Makes the catch. Pirates get 2, leave them loaded. 2-0 Bucks through 3.
Yesterday we had a promotion from single A to double A Altoona. It was Gregory Polanco promoted. Look at the numbers he did in 57 games. The kid has been fantastic. 24 stolen bases to go with 17 doubles. And I talked to general manager Neil Huntington about the promotion of Polanco from Bradenton to Altoona. And the one thing they like about him is his everyday approach to that he takes to the ballpark. And they just felt like, honestly, it was time for him to move up a level. The one thing they like, the one thing they want him to learn to continue to get better at is making pitchers come to him where he can realize he can do more damage as to him going after pitchers. So, Greg and Bob, when you look at Gregory Polanco, he's one of the high prospects coming through the system, and we're starting to see it a little bit. So any Pirates fans that might be watching right now, don't miss a trip. If you get a chance, go to Altoona and watch this young man play before he hits to the big leagues.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Robbie. 22 years old, another one of those international signs from the Dominican. Rene Gallo and Ellis Pena signed Gregory Polanco, left-hand hitter. Hoping to see him in the big leagues before too long. Big left-handed slugger. Hate to hear comparisons because it puts a lot of pressure on them, but that's what we do. We've heard Dave Parker comparisons, Gregory Polanco. Of course, we've heard Vladimir Guerrero comparisons to Starling Marte.
We dropped the Roger Clemens on Cole first night.
Right, that's right. Yeah. Not by much, 2-2. And Nick Punto. Punto hit into the double play in the first. Adrian Gonzalez on deck. And I don't know if anybody has compared Yasiel Puig to anybody, have they?
Mondesi. Big, strong. Yeah. Nice arm. Right fielder.
Leadoff walk.
I don't know if anyone said that or not. I
threw that out.
I thought you were challenging me to come up.
No,
with
I really wasn't. But he does have it all. I mean, he's a 5-tool player. was the first game he played in the big leagues after coming up from Double-A, and game ended on his throw to first base, a double play. 2 days later, throws out a runner at third base. Bullet.
He's already a legend.
Yeah. Viva Puig. Call from Vin Scully. So Puig won a game 3 days into his career. Talking to Luis Cruz. Ball tapped to first. Nice play by Garrett Jones. And staying on the bag of the stretch, Clint Barmes.
Excellent job. This is not a double play. You're going to get one out of it at best. And Jonesy got the lead man. Could have played it safe, but decided to go after the lead guy.
How about how his defense has picked up the past couple weeks, huh?
His picks of late have been very good over at first base. This throw a little wide of the mark, but like I said, they're not going for a double play, so Barmes can kind of take it like he's a first baseman, just stretch, make the play.
Hanley Ramirez playing in only his 11th game. Injured during the World Baseball Classic. Activated off the DL April the 29th. And 6 days later, injured his left hamstring and placed on the DL again. .362 career batting average with 7 homers against the Pirates. .403 hitter at PNC Park. Two and 0.
Is it Hanley Ramirez that got taken out of a ball game when he was in the Marlins for jogging after a ball?
Yeah, wasn't that Freddie Gonzalez? Pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Then manager.
Manager of the Braves.
Some criticized him, but most people applauded him for that disciplinary action.
Billy Martin move.
3-0. It was really a foregone conclusion that Gonzalez was going to be the Braves manager anyway. So later in the year he was fired. Count on Hanley Ramirez, who flied to right his first time up against Jeff Locke. Locke walked Punto to start the inning. Gonzalez chopped the ball to Garrett Jones. Ripped. Oh, what a pick by Barmes. And a double play. That ball was a bullet. What a pick. this ball into a double play.
A little bit of a double clutch. The ball got to him so quick. He had plenty of time. And I'm wondering if he was going to be real quick with it and didn't decide. No, he didn't have a grip. He had change-up grip. He had to go back in and try it again. But he had time to do it.
Ball one on Jeff Locke. He bounced out to end the second. Locke is now 0 for 30 to start the season. The last Pirates pitcher to go hitless in 30 at-bats for a year, Chris Benson, was 0 for 30 in 2003. Luke Walker went 0 for 32 in 1969. Most hitless at-bats in one season by a Pirates pitcher. You have to figure he's due. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three and 2.
Got a good eye.
1 hit in 38 career big league at bats for Jeff Locke. Still 3 and 2.
Pitcher's row.
I think that's Garrett Cole, Gabby Sanchez. Another foul ball. So 3 and 2 on Jeff Locke. On deck, Alex Presley, then Russell Martin.
Practice.
Riverhounds
yeah.
Stadium.
Getting ready.
And up the middle. There it is.
He was due. Good call, Greg.
Yep. I get an assist there. You know, if I hadn't said that, he would not have gotten a hit. So, yeah.
Pitcher's row.
Yep.
They're happy.
Now, did he give the Z? Do you give the Z in a situation like that?
I don't know. If it's a single and you didn't drive anybody in, probably not.
Okay.
It's got to be, with nobody on base, it's got to be it's got to be double.
Even though it's your first hit of the season, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just guessing, but I would think if I was in charge of writing the rules, I would throw that out. That, you know.
Nobody on base, you get a single.
You know,
nothing.
Wait a minute, though.
Yeah.
It's a leadoff single. Which, that might give you a half a Z. You'll put one hand. I have to talk to Neil about it. I think Neil is the keeper of the Z.
Yep. Rules committee.
He will know.
The Z master. Tuno. Now AJ Ellis out to talk. Well, it's great to have the fountain back, isn't it?
It looks outstanding.
It's spectacular.
The little fan, the 3 fans on each side there, that looks good. Oh, nice crowd at the fountain too. Last time I was at the fountain, we were told to leave.
That's what happens when you're there at that hour. I've been there too. In fact, you and I think we're together that night.
There's a curfew at the fountain. Yeah, probably.
I think we were. There's a curfew.
I think Mr. Glass might have been with us.
I think so. I think the wives were saying, get out, it's time to leave. 3-0 on Presley. Pirates looking to mount a big inning. And base runners in each of the first 4 frames. And Fife was able to get out of the last one by intentionally walking Snyder, and then Barmes flied out to left. Pirates did score the 2 on the double by McCutchen.
I've just been texted. Leadoff single by a pitcher is worth a Z.
Is that right?
Yep.
Nice to Second possible double play. Nope.
Alex a little too fleet.
So he did get the Z, you said?
Yeah, that's came from one of our best fans.
Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Over.
Just down the street a little bit.
Yeah. Russell Martin. Martin has walked and singled.
More and more that the fountain evening coming back to me. I think it started at Froggy's at the start number, right? A long time ago.
I don't remember that.
A long time ago. A lot of times evening started at Froggy's. You ended up.
Yeah, I know. Well, the same thing. Presley goes, and it's fouled off by Russell Martin.
Like a little hit-run action.
Bullpen action now for the Dodgers. J.P. Howell. Probably looking down at Jones, Walker, and Alvarez. Cutchin on deck. Russell Martin was a 17th round pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2002. Blocked by A.J. Ellis. Again, J.P. Howell warming up. Two and two the count. Good old.
Fife will definitely want to throw a strike here. If he goes 3-2, he might lose his double play. Probably start Presley. I think Presley was running there, so a little flinch.
Like it, didn't it?
A little flinch, yeah. But if you go 3-2, then you know Presley's going to be running. And so it kind of like, it bums you out, because then you think, well, now if I get the ground ball, I've lost my double play. And he certainly did flinch a little bit towards second.
There he goes. Taken for a ball. And, the out call at second. Boy, you got to give credit to not only Ellis, but Ramirez with a real quick tag. As though Presley had beaten that. No argument at all. Again, these Dodgers catchers have done a great job this year throwing out runners.
The ball got home quickly. Everything, all three players did their job. Fife got the ball home quick. Nice on-target throw. And Hanley definitely with a quick tag.
One of the best defensive infielders, Nick Punto, throws out Russell Martin. So it remains 2-0 Bucks through 4. a furious comeback as the Pens defeat the Blackhawks in Game 1 of the '92 Stanley Cup Finals. Hear exclusive interviews from Ron Francis, Larry Murphy, Scotty Bowman, Troy Loney, Sean McEachran, Yuri Radina. And you relive this memorable game. Sunday Night Classics. Pens come back at the Igloo Sunday at 8 on Root Sports. Beautiful night. Pittsburgh. Pirates lead the Dodgers 2-0. So far through 4 innings, a really nice bounce back start from Jeff Locke.
Survivor. Put that boat, Rick.
That's old school, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know, he even has cargo. We have cargo on a boat like that.
Jeff Locke facing Mark Ellis, who singled in the second. One of 2 hits against him. Just 3 base runners. One of the hits, of course, a bunt single to start the ball game. But this is the Jeff Locke we have seen most of this season. Did he go?
Put names on everybody. We need to put some. Who's Locke? Mind you. I mean, his season, his start is definitely worthy of fixing a name to him.
Not that he intended to, but Clint Hurdle brought up Tom Glavine today because of the way Glavine would be unafraid to pitch inside for a while in his career. Well, how about you? What do you?
It reminds me of Warren Spahn.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. Good comp. That's a good comp.
So that's what Steve told me.
Oh, okay. Well, he told me Harvey Haddix. Foul, still 2-2. You compared Locke to Doc Ellis.
He was throwing a no-hitter and he walks up.
Yeah.
Would Doc walk 8 during his no-hitter? No. So he was right on pace.
Locke just 25 years old. Check swing. Goes 3-2 now. Reading one of the Pirate magazines that they give out each homestand, Pirates First Pitch, and Jeff Locke was asked via Twitter, strike 3 call, about the keys to his success, especially this year. He said, beginning of spring training last year, he picked up a turn at the top of his delivery, and that's has something that has kind of propelled him through the season. And even the start of this year, a little bit more deceptiveness.
Right there. Kind of like a similar thing to what Cueto did a few years ago. Cueto does it, you know,
more exaggerated.
Yeah,
right?
he really shows you his back. But Locke is not too far away from that.
Says he's finishing his pitches much better.
Well, we've talked in the past about how his stuff picked up from that first time we saw him. It was a September call-up to last year. Very impressive. Low turn.
Also said he was throwing across his body a little bit more before, and this delivery has helped him go straight up. And now it's 3-0 on Andre Ethier.
Means by across his body is where he puts his front foot. If you're throwing across your body, you're planting your foot. If you're a left-hander, you're planting it more to the first base side of the plate. Whereas if you're throwing straight up, you're putting the foot down right in line of home plate. As you watch him throw, you can see that front foot is coming down to draw a line just right straight ahead, right to the plate. Watch how that front foot comes right down, pointed right at the plate. That's just dead straight. Now, if he's thrown across his body, it comes down a little earlier.
Got to get over. Nice play by Jones, and got him.
Very nice. Well, you mentioned earlier about the defense that Jones has been playing lately. You know, Greg, we mentioned earlier about confidence playing such a big role in pitching and hitting. I gotta believe that maybe it's a defense too. You start getting a little more confident.
Yeah.
And I thought that I kind of picked on that about a week ago. He came in on a bunt play. I think it was in Atlanta. And somebody bunted the ball right at him, and he threw across to third base and got the out. I don't think he would have done that a couple of years ago.
He's much more aggressive now with those plays.
He would have been very conservative and just got the out at first base, but he's going for it. Like tonight on that, he didn't go for the easy out. He went for the lead runner.
No 2 count on A.J. Ellis, the catcher, as Locke looks to retire the side in order for the second time. Set them down 1-2-3 in the third.
Only 55 pitches to this point. I like that better than anybody.
I know that. Yeah, you said that earlier.
Up there. Anybody.
Still trying to figure out how.
Nobody can like that as much as I do.
So forget it. Don't even try.
No, I put my name on it. That's mine.
1-2-3, the strikeout, and the throw to first to complete the K.
Oh my!
Spectacular shot from the blimp.
Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Again, all weekend long, we'll get these spectacular shots from the blimp. The incline at the sunset. I got to think those guys up there in the blimp probably like shooting Pittsburgh as much as any other city. There's a shot. Oh, and what a pick by Punto, but he couldn't hold on, picks it up, and throws out McCutchen. Man, Nick Junto knocks that ball down.
Not even smiling. How can you not have a big smile on your face after making a great play like that?
Oh. Good shot from the AGH cam.
It almost knocked him over.
Yeah.
He had to put his right hand down to steady himself.
John Waiter like that play?
Oh, John, love that play. John loves a good defense.
John was a former Dodger for a time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in spring training for the
Dodger blue.
Yep. He'll talk to us a lot about those Dodger days.
Or a couple of different uniforms.
Yeah.
Black and gold, the teal, Dodger blue, black and white spots.
Black and white spots?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's one of the uniforms I've seen him wear.
Black and white spots. I don't know what uniform that is. The carrot? Oh, that, yeah. Oh, now I got you. I'm sorry. Boy, am I slow. It's at that contest they do here at the ballpark.
Exactly.
Black and white spots. Oh, the inside jokes. Neil Walker 1 for 2. Should be a 1-2-3 inning. Boy, the Pirates were really working Fife, but he has an easy 1-2-3 fifth.
Starting rotation has been in a state of flux lately with A.J. Burnett going on the DL last night. And tomorrow it's going to be Brandon Compton making his big league debut, called up from Indianapolis. And actually the team was in Durham, North Carolina when he received the call that he was going, and he was actually charting behind the plate, so he wasn't even on the bench when he got into the clubhouse. Got word that he was going to do it, so he flew up from Durham and was able to make his way here to Pittsburgh. And he walked in the clubhouse, and I asked him, how is your what's it like here being in a big league clubhouse? And he just took a look around. He said, man, I am in awe right now. And tomorrow's going to be a pretty cool day for him. He's got about 10 friends and family, led by his mother Jolene, father Ron, and brother Jordan, making the trip from Augusta, Georgia, to watch him pitch for the first time in the big leagues. And what a story. Started the year in Double-A, and here he is in June, starting at PNC Park.
Robbie, thank you. A former 9th-round pick out of Georgia Tech 3 years ago, Brandon Compton, asking Clint Hurdle about Andy Oliver, the left-hander who is on the 40-man roster and who we saw in spring training, player the Pirates acquired from the Tigers. Oliver scheduled to start tonight for Indianapolis. So they easily could have pushed it back until tomorrow. But Hurdle said that Oliver has had a lot of command issues lately. So Brandon Compton will make his big league debut tomorrow against, of all pitchers, Clayton Kershaw. Now Hairston deep to left. Presley there. And we'll see if we don't have a pinch hitter for Fife. There's a tweet. What's the story on Compton, Bob? How do you predict he will do tomorrow?
Well, let me get my read my email, and I'll tell you all about him. Where's that now? No, I seriously, don't really know a whole lot, to be honest with you. I think we're going to see a ground ball type pitcher that throws a lot of two-seamers, likes to use his fastball. I understand that occasionally he can even get it up there into the upper 90s, so we'll see what happens. But it's another one of those days where we got a young guy out there for the first time, and it's going to be kind of fun for me to just watch his reactions and see how he handles things.
Luis Cruz pinch hitting. Well, hard to come close to what Garrett Cole did. I think.
Well, there's the plan. I
set
think.
The bar, didn't he?
Yeah. If he wants to know how he should handle himself and how he should go about it, that's the way. Go out there, believe in yourself, trust your stuff, throw strikes.
Clint Hurdle made a good point when asked him about Compton's demeanor and whether he's going to be a cool customer tomorrow. He said, well, we thought Phil Irwin was going to be like that. Phil Irwin's such a cool, calm customer on the mound. And we saw him in spring training, but when he made his big league debut, understandably so. There's a lot of nerves. There's a little one-hopper. Picked again by Barmes. Luis Cruz, the pinch hitter for Fife, retired. And Barmes playing fine defense behind Jeff Locke.
Charging that ball, and reading it properly, knowing that if he could break in as hard as he could handle that short hop. If he stays back, and he's going to have an in-between hop, much tougher to catch. Infielders will read the ground balls just in a very similar fashion to what an outfielder does on a fly ball. You got to know whether to break in, stay back.
Yasiel Puig bunted for a hit to start the game and grounded out his last time up. Yes, he did, says the home plate umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt. And it's 0-2 on Puig. Early book on Puig is to try and bust him inside. He likes the ball away, and he strikes out looking. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Locke liking the Dodgers. Nothing. Pirates, and what a job so far by Jeff Locke and now J.P. Howell, one of the players involved in that fracas the other day. We talked about the players that were suspended. He is appealing his suspension. He and Skip Schumacher, along with hitting coach Mark McGuire, each getting 2-game suspensions. We saw McGuire up here in the press box. He will sit out tomorrow as well, and will be back on Sunday. Pedro Alvarez against the lefty. He's walked and doubled. Dodgers got that break. Remember when the ball hit the track and over the wall, so Neil Walker could not score. They ended up getting out of it after the Pirates had scored 2 on the double by McCutchen. So Stephen Fife, the rookie, goes 5 innings, gives up 2 runs. He walked 3, 1 intentionally, and struck out 4. Hoping to do that tonight. The rest of this weekend, though it has been tough against the Dodgers, who have won 6 straight series over the Pirates, including that sweep at Dodger Stadium in April. As Howell takes care of Alvarez. Sunday, Bucks and Dodgers meet 1:35. All kids and dads will take home a replica Sunday alternate cap thanks to Trib Total Media. And of course, you can come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street and stay after the game. Kids can run the bases. Spend your Father's Day here at PNC Park Sunday. Go to Pirates.com for tickets. And of course, Garrett Cole will be on the mound for the Pirates on Father's Day. What a treat.
Happy Father's Day.
Did Terry, is that scripted? Terry's got the camera roving the stands. That gentleman just said Happy Father's Day right after a promo about Father's Day?
No, that can't be scripted. No. That would never happen.
Happy Father's Day.
He said, okay, now it is scripted.
Hi, Mom.
Go Bucks!
2-0 on Snyder.
What are you going to get for Father's Day? Good.
I don't know. I usually don't get treats. Father's Day. Do you?
Treats?
Yeah. How about you?
No, not really.
Other than the caps on Sunday.
No, I'll get a nice card.
Oh, yeah, of course. You get the card, of course. Your Father's Day came early with the new pitch count.
Oh, that's right.
On the screen for us.
You got a new present, too. You got the new audio box.
Thank you very much. It is nice to be able to talk to the truck now. See, when my talkback, Bob, here's just a little tip. When my talkback doesn't work, all right, and it's going over the air, you can't see this, I guess, right? Talk, yeah, there we go. All right, this is the talkback. Yeah. Play-by-play. I ask if I could have it replaced so that I can talk to the truck. You, on the other hand, throughout the seasons, just decide to go ahead and hit that talkback. It never works. Just go ahead.
I don't ask for things. I just deal with whatever I got.
You're easygoing. Gumby, you're Gumby.
I'm very
so
happy.
Flexible. Mr. Flexible. Happy. Yeah. Never in a bad mood.
No.
Never.
I'm just a sidekick, and I know that, and so I try not to make any waves.
So you're my Ed McMahon. I'm Johnny Carson.
Yep.
Or you're Andy. I don't know Andy's last name. Andy Richter. And I'm Conan. Two and one on Barmes. Yeah, struck out and flied to left. Pirates trying to turn their fortunes around against these Dodgers. Chopped to short. Ramirez on to first. Pirates go down in order for the second straight inning. Going on to the 7th inning. What a shot. 2-0 Pirates. Over the Dodgers in the first of this 3-game series at PNC Park. And an AT&T tweet. How about we get the lock as an all-star talk going? Man has been awesome all year. Yeah, Bob, let's get this all-star talk going.
Got no problem with that. I think he's very well deserving of that. I would have liked to have got that W the other day. That's really what's missing from his numbers at this point. You'd like to get a few more wins. He's just sitting at 5. Not that much time left to try to get to double figures or get to at least 9. But the other numbers are excellent, so he's going to get some consideration, but he's got to get some wins. Hopefully tonight they'll get number 6.
Ball to strike on Nick Punto. Just 68 pitches.
It's awfully nice over the last couple of years to be talking about multiple all-stars. For a long time it was like, well, who is going to be our guy? Who is going to our lone representative? The last couple of years we've had all kinds of different players, pitchers we could talk up, and any of them are very deserving to go to the all-star game. So McCutcheon, who in the home run hitting contest last year. At Kansas City, isn't it?
Yep. By the way, you can go to Pirates.com and vote for your favorite Pirate All-Stars.
I got to think right now that Grelly is going to be an easy pick.
This is so impressive to see Jeff Locke after struggling mightily with that strike zone in Chicago. What a great comeback start for him tonight.
He's putting the ball right where he wants it. Breaking ball, backdoored it.
On Sunday against the Cubs, you're talking about a guy who lasted just 5 2/3 innings and walked 7 batters. And another quick out.
72 pitchers. Looking complete game tonight, maybe.
You said it, I didn't. I got in so much trouble the other day.
You say complete game?
No, because I ruined the Brian Morris no-hitter because I mentioned that he hadn't thrown a no-hitter. And then...
No, but I absolved you of that because you'd gone 11 innings.
And then in Chicago, John Wehner's mother texted John saying, why is he talking about a complete game shutout, the Burnett game? He didn't get it. I got in trouble for that. So again, Mrs. Wehner, that's Bob. Strike on Hanley Ramirez.
Complete games are so rare nowadays. I think you can talk about them, and they're probably not going to happen anyway. So you might as well talk about them.
There you go. Oh, 0-2 on Hanley Ramirez.
Now, when you talk about these things, you shouldn't be. Are you knocking on wood?
No.
Well, that's one of the things that you have to be doing. If you're going to do it, you're going to take a chance. At least knock on wood.
0-2 on Hanley Ramirez. To right center. Snyder. Nice play by Travis Snyder. Gave a look to McCutchen and then realized it was all him. Well done by Travis Snyder, and 1, 2, 3 and out. 11 in a row retired by Jeff Locke. He's on lockdown, and we're staying here for the 7th inning stretch at PNC Park.
And join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Shots from the AGH cam, and look at this. Brandon Inge is pinch hitting for Jeff Locke.
See what you did, Greg?
I didn't say anything, Bob. But like you said, they don't happen too often.
No, so we might as well talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen anyway.
"75 pitches, 2-hit shutout." I can only imagine what the guy next door is saying. Steve Blass. Pitcher throwing a 2-hit shutout. Less than 80 pitches.
He's gone in 7 innings, and that's what the Pirates are looking for from their starting pitchers. Is get 7.
The one thing I'm going to guess about Clint Hurdle, and I was going to say this last inning, he wants Melanson to get out there. Melanson hasn't pitched since Friday. It's always that fine line where you want these relievers to get enough rest, but you want them to stay sharp. really hasn't pitched a whole heck of a lot in the past week. Last worked on Wednesday. What a performance from Jeff Locke.
Certainly one of his best starts ever in his short career.
And an in drives Ethier back to the wall in right center and bangs into Puig.
Ran into Puig pretty good. He's not hurt, is he?
Puig missed a couple of games with what I believe was a shoulder.
He's all right. Just waved him off in the dugout. Both going hard. Puig was trying to throw the brakes on and get out of his way, but we're both running so fast that by the time I think Ethier made the call, too late. I don't want either one of those guys running into me with a full head of steam. It looks like he's flexing his left knee or ankle. Might have got kicked.
Strike on Presley. There was a shoulder tightness that had Puig out of the lineup a couple of days ago. Two and one now on Presley. He has struck out, reached on an infield single, and bounced into a force play. 9 straight Pirates have been retired. Stephen Fife set down the last 5 he faced, and Howell has retired the 4 men he's faced so far. Another shot there of Jeff Locke, who was brilliant tonight. He was going to pitch tomorrow. Tonight's start was going to go to A.J. Burnett. Pirates had the off day on Monday, so they were hoping to give guys like Jeff Locke an extra day of rest, but when Burnett was placed on the DL, Locke going tonight. And he really stepped up.
Well, a lot of teams like to keep their big guns on every 5th day. Well,
yeah.
Locke has become one of the big guns, that's for sure. So he pitches on his regular day and pitches extremely well.
He has been involved in 4 of the 10 Pirates shutouts. Fair ball, and Gonzalez makes the play. Presley is out number 2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Take advantage of the Pepsi Max Pack. Get a hot dog, pretzel, Pepsi, and a Pirates game ticket for just $28. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Pepsi Max. Save big. You purchase the Pepsi Max Pack. Available every Friday and Sunday Pirates home game this season. So take advantage this Father's Day. Pepsi Max Pack.
See Mr. Cole pitch.
Yep. You get
a nice crowd, I would think.
Father's Day, you get a free cap. Nice play it by Punto again. Throws out Russell Martin. Nick Punto flashing the leather.
Make all the pitches, and he was able to do that. I mean, just about everything he wanted to throw, he put it in the spot he wanted to. Really a big change from that last start of his, where even though he took a no-hitter deep in the ball game, he really wasn't throwing the ball where he wanted to. And that's been the difference tonight. He's just been out there painting with good stuff.
75 pitches. And he retired the last 11 he faced. One of those hits was a fun single to lead off the ball game by Yasiel Puig.
You can't do much better than Locke did tonight. And we were kind of kidding around with the comparisons, throwing some great names out there. Well, he pitched like a great tonight. Excellent start from Locke.
Gabby Sanchez comes on to play first base. And Mark Melancon, as we said, I'm going to guess that is what Clint Hurdle will say when he is asked, why in the world did you pull Jeff Locke? Because I've got to keep Melancon sharp, and Grilly for that matter. Melancon appearing in his first game since last Friday.
They're like sharks. Sharks always have to be moving.
That's right.
They can't let them just sit in one spot.
In front of a sellout crowd tonight, 36,780. Pirates hoping to gain a game on the first place Cardinals.
They're down by 2 runs in the 6th. Game in Miami.
Mark Ellis takes the strike. Five, 6, 7 in the order. Ball and a strike on Mark Ellis. Just off the disabled list, 1 for 2. One ball, 2 strikes, the count. There's the mothership.
Just down the street a little bit.
When we say we're going over the studio, that's where we're going, from the ballpark over to Root Sports Building, where Dan Potash had the last update on that Cardinals game.
It's a short walk for Dan.
Yep, not bad at all.
He's going to come back to the post game.
The Marlins are leading 5-3 of the Cardinals in the 6th inning. Like Bob said, two balls, 2 strikes on Ellis. Bounced to Barmes, to Sanchez.
That's when that cutter is really effective. Guys try to pull it right off the end of the bat.
And let's check out the road ahead, brought to you by Nissan. Mid-afternoon start tomorrow. Bucks and Dodgers. It's Clayton Kershaw, best ERA in the league, 188. And Brandon Compton will be coming up from AAA Indianapolis to make his major league debut. And on Sunday, Zach Greinke for the Dodgers against Garrett Cole after his sensational big league debut. Coverage begins at 3:30 tomorrow. When Fan Jam, of course, after the game, Blues Traveler. The Dodgers trying to win just their 10th game away from Chavez Ravine. They are 9-17 on the road this season. Only the Marlins have fewer road wins in all of baseball. Rizzo Alvarez thought about going after that one, and then Let Barmas give it a shot, and it'll go as a base hit for Ethier.
Had some crazy spin coming off of it. So when it hit the ground, it bounced kind of in, almost like it was jamming Barmas. See how it came back in at him? He was expecting that ball to be out there at least arm's length.
Limp shot.
Took that hop, got inside.
So now it's A.J. Ellis. He takes ball 1.
Saw that shot to Barmas hiding his mouth. He had his mouth open. He's just signaling to Neal, who's going to cover in case there's a steal. That time mouth closed. Kind of like a computer. It's like ones and zeros. It's a binary thing. Open, close. Very complicated code.
Two-one count on A.J. Ellis. Struck out twice against Jeff Locke.
If you're at home and you might be wondering, well, why would it change from pitch to pitch? Well, Barmas is looking in right now at the signs. He knows if it's going to be an off-speed pitch. He knows if it's supposed to be inside or outside. And that's going to be the reason he makes the decisions that he makes. Who covers? Try to anticipate where the hitter might hit the ball on certain pitches that are called. If you think it's something where the ball might be pulled, well then obviously you're going to want Neal to come over and make the play if the runner's going.
Struck him out with a pitch in the dirt. Ellis goes down on strikes for the 3rd straight time.
Standing there for a while. Or if he thought he got a piece of that or something. Yeah, he was arguing that he had fouled it off. Good breaking ball bouncing in front of the plate.
I don't know how he could argue that.
Well, you saw him turn and look at the umpire, and
nowhere close.
I mean, that's the only thing he can be telling the umpire. What else is he going to tell him? No, I didn't swing. Why can't you check that?
Well, that would have been just as much an argument.
Yeah.
I can understand the frustrations of A.J. Ellis. Rough night for him. Jerry Hairston Jr. is 0 for 2. Mark Melanson trying to get the ball to Grilli. Time called. Late call. And Wendelstedt granted the timeout.
It's uncomfortable for pitchers to have to do that. You can see that Hairston was calling for time and then saying that he was sorry.
My bad, my bad.
Yep.
Toward the left center gap. Presley over. Chance to hold the runner. A double for Jerry Hairston Jr. Ethier held at 3rd. And now the potential tying run in scoring position.
Good job by Presley. If this ball hits the wall, he's not going to be able to stop Ethier from scoring. Races into the gap, makes the backhand, and is able to do it. You know, the Dodgers badly were wanting to score that run from first base with 2 outs. Couldn't take the chance.
So Hairston doubles Second and third, 2 outs, and Juan Uribe will be announced as the pinch hitter.
Well, a little bit of a problem. Hairston is representing that tying run. A little single could tie things up. I would like a strikeout here. I only want this ball put in play. You know, when you look down from the blimp, Greg, look how much room there is for base hits to land.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder how, the average hitter hits about 240. There's so much room to have to cover. But they do it. It's the defenders are just little specks.
Uribe hitting 277. He is 4 for 6 as a pinch hitter with a home run. The veteran Juan Uribe.
Uribe looked like he was asking if that was on the swing or the pitch, trying to get a feel for that strike zone. The pitch did look like it was right on the corner.
Here comes Martin.
Well, this is a very important at bat right here, the most important of the game, with tying run at second base. So they do not want to have any miscommunication. They both want to make sure they're in agreement of what they want to do here, how they want to pitch to Uribe.
Juan Uribe, since May 22nd, is hitting at a 340 clip. 300 batter with men in scoring position. One and two on Uribe, who has been very clutch. 7 for 17 in close and late situations this year. That's a .412 average.
Melanson gave him a pretty good pitch to hit there. That ball right down the middle. Uribe missed it, but now he's out ahead of him. He can really go to work. Don't throw it in the middle of the plate again.
Wow, the block by Russell Martin. Two and two.
This one definitely not in the middle of the plate. Ball barely made it to the dirt. Almost bounced out in the grass.
Ethier at third. Hairston at second. And he struck him out. Melanson with a couple of strikeouts in the inning. It remains a 2-0 Pirates lead here at PNC Park on a Friday night.
by authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
MLB.TV celebrates 11 years with new low yearly prices. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere. And a base hit for McCutchen. He's 2 for 4. He had the 2-run double in the third. The difference in the ball game. Matt Guerrier is the new pitcher.
A leadoff single. I didn't notice, Greg, if he got a Z or not for that.
Your source says a leadoff hit.
By a pitcher, though, I think.
All right, well,
difference.
he's no pitcher.
We're going to watch, see if he had the Z or not.
Going to want to take off here. Looking for insurance. Gabby Sanchez, first at bat.
Twisting that foot into the ground, that left foot, trying to get those cleats. A good grip on the dirt.
Garrett Jones was 0 for 3 tonight.
Numbers have been pretty good with the first battery efficiency number, almost 80%. But not this inning.
He's in his third year now with the Dodgers. One-time Pirates minor leaguer. Several years with the Twins. Pitch out. McCutchen not going. 1 ball, 1 strike.
McCutchen looks like he wants to run. Get the lead extended out there pretty well. He's digging in that left foot.
15 bags and 19 attempts for him.
I can understand why they would pitch out.
Starling Marte, the only teammates in the majors who've stolen at least 15 bases. The last pair of Pittsburgh teammates to have at least 20 steals apiece before the All-Star break, Andy Van Slyke and Barry Bonds in 1987. Reaching out, and that's going to drop in for a hit. McCutchen was not fooled by Ethier, and he is safe. First and third, nobody out.
McCutchen just using his speed there. I thought that they might have him. Ethier is not very deep as this ball is fielded by Ethier. He's got all the momentum in the world coming in. And right about there, McCutchen is just outrunning the baseball.
Ethier tried to deke him right there.
Good, strong throw, pretty much on target.
Boy, close. Quick tag by Punto. So it's first and third, and nobody out. The batter, Neil Walker, and out comes Trey Hillman to make a pitching change. With Walker, and then the lefties Alvarez and Snyder due up. Most managers want to turn Walker around and have him hit from the right side. So we'll take a look at the new pitcher coming on. A sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Nothing like it, especially from that view, huh?
Oh, has some great
Thanks
shots
to the flip.
tonight.
Thanks, guys. Great shots indeed. Here all weekend. Here is Paco Rodriguez, second-round pick last year. Rodriguez out of the University of Florida, appearing in his 32nd game.
Opponent batting average just 139. He does not give up very many hits, just 10 in his almost 23 innings of work.
He made 11 appearances last year, becoming the first member of the 2012 draft class to make his major league debut after just 21 minor league games. Neil Walker with the infield in all the way around. Walker 1 for 3 tonight as a left-hand hitter.
The situation earlier, didn't we? He'll hit a ground ball. It's short, right? It's short.
Yep.
And McCutchen got thrown out the plate.
Back
One
in the third inning.
contact.
Yep, after the McCutchen double.
See if Neil, with a second chance, gives one out to the outfield. Then the other time he was up there, he wasn't patient enough getting the ball upstairs. He went after some balls that were down, fell behind the count, and then had to go after the downstairs pitches. But it's the opposite now. 2-0. He's in the driver's seat. He can really make sure he gets a ball that was up that he can get to the outfield now.
Pirates scored their 2 runs in the third inning, and that has been it tonight. We've talked about this before. That number on the bottom of your screen there as a right-hand hitter is a bit deceiving. He's hit the ball hard. Last several ABs he's had against lefties. At times nothing to show for it. He did have a single against the lefty Maharis the other day against the Giants. Brought in a couple of runs. Three and one. There's that foul.
Seeing everything inside off the plate.
Paco Rodriguez been very tough, very stingy. Shallow right in foul territory. Gonzalez will make the catch, and McCutchen's heading for home, and he's going to make it easily on a foul pop caught by the first baseman. McCutchen scores. It's 3-0. Sacrifice fly for Walker.
You got that kind of speed, really almost a no-brainer. Go ahead and take off. As you see, the situation is Gonzalez is over the shoulder, falling away from the plate. You're going to make it. And Gabby Sanchez was tagging up and going to go to second base regardless of this and challenge Gonzalez to throw to second. He was going to have to make a choice. Either let Gabby, go to second base or throw home. But then, Kutch saw his chance and decided just to go ahead and take it anyway. So he's going to go back. Makes it easy, no play. But they had that all set up for Gabby to go to second base. to see if Gonzalez would throw to second so that Kutch could score on the throw. It would have been very interesting to see what kind of decision Gonzalez would have made on that play if Kutch wouldn't have broke home.
Strikeout of Alvarez. It's another indication of what Clint Hurdle was talking about yesterday to us regarding the base running, which he says has been much better this season.
Gabby's tagging up. There he goes. Now, if McCutchen wasn't coming home, what would Gonzalez do? He would have had to throw the ball home anyway and just let Gabby go ahead and get to second base. Because if he would have threw to second from down there, McCutchen walks home. And that's kind of a set play that sometimes, I don't know, in spring training.
Wild pitch now has Sanchez at third.
How often that is practice, but that is one of the things in spring training you will do is practice both on offense and on defense. What you're going to do if another team tries to do that to you. You try to get cutoff guys in position so that the ball won't go all the way towards second base or all the way home. But in that instance, they had no time to do that.
Snyder walked intentionally in the third, 0 for 2. That play made possible by the aggressive base running there of Andrew McCutchen after the base hit by Sanchez to center. McCutchen going first to third and scoring on the sacrifice pop-up in foul territory by Neil Walker. Yes, says the third base umpire, Greg Gibson, on the appeal. Left-handed hitters have 5 hits in 37 at-bats this season against Paco Rodriguez. Strikes out the left-hand hitters Alvarez and Snyder back-to-back, but the Pirates add an insurance run, and now it's grilled cheese time to try and save it for Locke.
He struck him out. Praise the Jolly Roger and give Grilly the save. Got him. Struck him out. Praise the Jolly Roger.
Pepsi call. W for the Bucks.
Grilly is going to try and bring him the cheese now. It is Jason Grilly. Grilled cheese time.
Bucks.
I like that shirt.
Let's go, Bucks.
Really has one save opportunity this month of June. That was against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley. Earned his then major league leading 23rd save. That was on Friday against the Cubs in a 2-0 shutout. Preserved the victory for Francisco Liriano. He had 22 saves through May the 28th. He's not had many opportunities. This just the second. Since then, Jim Johnson of the Orioles and Mariano Rivera have matched his 23 saves. So trying to get the league lead back, and a leadoff infield single for Yasiel Puig. He's 2 for 4.
You got to respect his speed, so you have to play in pretty tight at third base, and he just chopped it down. Bounced it over Pedro's head. Nothing he could do about it. That's where we're at, right there. Beautiful sight. 3 more outs.
There's Nick Punto. Punto, a much better hitter from the other side of the plate. He's 333 as a right-hand hitter, 228 from the left side. But he bunts, and it's a good one. And it rolls. It's fair, hugging the line. First and second for the Dodgers, and nobody out in the 9th inning.
A chopper and a bunt. Thought when it fell off the grass, it might have enough momentum to get across the chalk. Tried. As soon as it hit the chalk, though, it came to a stop. You're going to see it fall off the grass right there. And it's like the chalk is just tall enough to stop it from rolling.
Here is Adrian Gonzalez.
Would have been a good one for, was it Lane Randall?
Yeah.
Blow into foul territory.
Popped up out of play. Adrian Gonzalez is 0 for 3 tonight. He lined out his last time up. He's hitting .423 with men in scoring position. Last year hit .392 in these situations. He's 9th in the league with 44 RBIs. He's 2 for 5 lifetime against Grilli. One ball and 1 strike. That .423 mark, 4th highest in the league, behind Beltran, Freeman, and Brandon Phillips. Clutch player over the years, Adrian Gonzalez. One and 2. Hanley Ramirez on deck. A bunt single by Punto. Followed the infield chopper by Yasiel Puig. And the Dodgers threatening here in the 9th.
Definitely going upstairs with it. Want to try and go any higher? Oh, went to the back foot breaking ball. Got him looking up. Try to get him to chase downstairs.
Two balls, 2 strikes. 2-2.
Wow, that one up close. Trying to throw it up there. You saw the target was up and in. Man.
Dodgers have seen too many of those pitches the last few days. 3-2. Struck him out.
Kept it upstairs. Got the swing and a miss.
High cheese. 1 down in the 9th.
That really kind of shows you the quality of pitches that really can throw. Somebody up there like Gonzalez with the game in the balance, and you get that strikeout. His numbers are outstanding when runners in scoring position, but really was better.
Now Hanley Ramirez. He's flied out to right field twice. Smoked a ball to Clint Barnes in the 4th inning, and Barnes turned it into an inning-ending double play. Ball 1. Ramirez 3 for 5 against Grilli in previous matchups.
Good job by Ramirez laying off that last one. Had to look pretty nice going in there. But he could afford to take it because he was out of had the count 1-0.
Just the 25th at bat this season for Hanley Ramirez. 2-1. 2 long stints on the disabled list. The Dodgers have lost 4 of their last 5 games. Hanley Ramirez trying to find a way to get on or bring at least Puig in with Mark Ellis on deck. Right. 2-2. When he laid off that breaking ball, Bob, he talked about before.
And this is a great pitch too, after that fastball on his hands, to now go back outside and just drill the glove right on the edge of the strike zone.
What does Martin put down? What does Grilli decide to do? 2-2. Will Ramirez chase? Will he stay with a fastball if you're Grilli? Try the breaking ball again. 2-2. Missed outside with a fastball.
Martin trying to pull it in just a little bit, see if he can get that call.
Jason Grilli with 23 saves to lead the National League against Hanley Ramirez, a .362 career hitter against Pittsburgh. Foul out of play. Runners off on the pitch.
Not afraid of the strikeout.
Trey Hillman managing tonight for
nice,
Don Mattingly.
Nice way to end it.
Oh, wouldn't that be
strike him out, throw him out, double play.
Not going. It's popped up and playable for Russell Martin. Maybe. And yes. 2 outs in the ninth.
Great up. Really having some success with that high fastball these last couple of hitters. That one right at the top of the zone. And all Ramirez could do was just catch the bottom part of the baseball.
Here's Mark Ellis. He is 2 for 7 lifetime against Grilly. Fresh off the disabled list, the second baseman is 1 for 3 tonight. A sellout crowd of 36,878. Standing. Strike one. Marlins are leading the Cardinals in the bottom of the 8th inning 5-4. One ball, one strike. Andre Ethier is on deck, and he has had his share of dramatic walk-off hits over the years.
Leave him right there.
Get this man.
Don't want to see him. Here's the guy you want right in front of you.
Oh, 1-2. That looked like a mismatch on that pitch.
Another high fastball. That's where he's been real good tonight. Going upstairs at the letters. Right on by.
Another Linda Ronstadt pitch, perhaps. Blue Bayou. 1-2, 2 outs, 2 on. Pirates lead 3-0. Have to do it again. One ball, 2 strikes on Mark Ellis. Flag is ready out dead center. The fireworks are ready. Maybe with this pitch. Crowd wants it. And he stays alive.
Who sings that? Stay alive.
Bee Gees. That was a Bee Gees swing. Two infield singles to start this inning, and a strikeout, a foul out, a 1-2 count on Mark Ellis. Got him with cheese, light it up, and raise the Jolly Roger in front of a sellout crowd. The Bucks blank the Dodgers.
Outstanding ball game. What a beautiful night it was. Tremendous start by Locke. And the grilled cheese was on tonight. Great effect with that high fastball. That's what he ended the game with. Swing and a miss, fastball right to letters.
Major League leading 11 shutout for this 2013 Pirates team. Jeff Locke, Martin Melanson, and Jason Grilly combined on the shutout. The Pirates could pull to within 3 of the Cardinals as they win game 1 of 3 against the Los Angeles Dodgers in front of 36,878. Now let's send it to Dan and T.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Well, manager Clint Hurdle referred to his pitching staff as a Rubik's Cube, a constant ability to have to fill holes. Well, he moves Jeff Locke up a day, He says, just give me 7 innings and we'll worry about the rest with the bullpen. Well, he got 7, and the pen took care of business.
Yeah, it did. It was a little different from Mark and Cheese today. Usually it's a little smoother than that. But no, they did the job in the last 2 innings. And I really do believe, we were talking about, Hurdle had said that, pitch counts are really out the window anymore. He's just going to go by his gut and by his eye. So I think right then he just figured out, you know what? I need to get Melanson. I need to get Gurley some work. This is a perfect opportunity. So he pulled lock after 7. Everything worked out perfectly.
Well, it wasn't just about the pitching tonight. It was also about the offense, and that's where Robbie Inzmakowski picks it